Pain is a universal experience. It touches every life, regardless of background, status, or strength. But while pain is often viewed as an obstacle, a burden, or a form of punishment, there exists a deeper truth. Pain can be the very force that propels us forward. The key is not in avoiding pain, but in learning to transform it, turning it from a force that breaks us into one that builds us. Too many people spend their lives running from pain. They avoid discomfort, sidestep challenges, and numb themselves with distraction. Yet every time we do this, we miss a powerful opportunity. Pain, when faced head-on, carries the potential to awaken something dormant inside us. It brings clarity. It strips away illusions and distractions, and in doing so, it reveals what truly matters. The sting of failure, the ache of loss, the frustration of setbacks, all of these have the potential to teach us lessons that success never could. Pain teaches patience. In moments of hardship, we're forced to slow down, to breathe, to sit with ourselves in silence. That stillness can become the foundation for deeper awareness. You begin to see things differently. You start to understand yourself, your fears, your triggers, your desires with more honesty. It's in these spaces that growth begins. Not in the applause of victory, but in the quiet moments when everything feels uncertain and the only thing left is you, your thoughts, and your will. Turning pain into power begins with reframing. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the more powerful question is, "What can I learn from this?" That shift alone creates movement. It puts you back in control. Pain no longer becomes something happening to you, it becomes something happening for you. You begin to see the setback not as a dead end, but as a detour towards something greater. That reframe is not denial, it's empowerment. It's taking the most difficult chapters of your life and deciding that they will not be wasted. This doesn't mean ignoring emotion. It means owning it. Feel the anger, feel the sadness, feel the fear, but don't get stuck there. Let those emotions flow through you and then channel them. Use the anger to fuel discipline. Use the sadness to build compassion. Use the fear to sharpen your focus. These emotions, once understood, become raw energy, and when you direct that energy into action, it becomes momentum. Every story of greatness is built on the back of pain. Behind every achievement, there's a story of failure. Behind every confident speaker, there was once someone trembling in silence. Behind every triumph, there were hours, days, and sometimes years of struggle. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck isn't the amount of pain they've experienced, it's what they've done with it. Some let it define them. Others let it refine them. When you stop avoiding pain and start embracing it, something inside you changes. You stop making excuses, you stop blaming others, you stop waiting for someone to save you. You realize that everything you need is already within you. That realization is uncomfortable, but it's also freeing. You no longer need to be a victim of circumstance. You become a student of experience. Pain brings purpose into focus. It teaches you what you care about. When something hurts deeply, it's often a signal pointing to something meaningful. The loss of a relationship reveals the importance of connection. A financial failure shows you how much you value security or freedom. A health scare exposes how vital your body is to your mission. Pain speaks the truth that comfort often hides. And when you listen to that truth, you gain direction. Transformation happens not in moments of ease, but in trials. The pressure you feel today is shaping the version of you that tomorrow will celebrate. Like coal under pressure becomes diamond, or metal in the fire becomes a blade, you too are being shaped by what you endure. And you are not fragile. You are capable of more than you've imagined. The very pain you've tried to avoid is the test that reveals your potential. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. Sometimes the pain will feel unbearable. Sometimes you'll want to quit. But every time you choose to keep going, every time you get back up, wipe your face and take another step, you're gaining power. You're building a resilience that can't be taught in books. You're constructing a foundation so solid that nothing external can shake it. There's another truth about pain. It connects us. Everyone has experienced it in some form. And when you transform your pain into something constructive, you don't just rise, you inspire others. Your strength becomes a mirror showing others what's possible. Your scars become stories that light the way for those still walking through the dark. In this way, pain becomes not only power but legacy. The very thing you thought would destroy you becomes the reason someone else doesn't give up. Asterisk. Power gained through pain is different. It's not loud, it's not flashy. It's quiet, grounded, and unshakable. It's the kind of power that doesn't need to prove anything, it simply is. And it radiates through how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you lead, how you love, because you've been through the fire and you've come out refined. Asterisk. When pain knocks, most people run. But what if instead you welcomed it? Not with joy, but with respect. What if instead of retreating, you stood still and said, "I see you, let's talk." That conversation, that confrontation, that willingness to face what hurts, that is the beginning of power. Asterisk. You don't get to choose when pain comes, but you always get to choose how you respond. And in that choice lies your greatest opportunity to turn your pain into something unbreakable, undeniable, and unforgettable. Asterisk. If you can feel pain, it means you're still breathing, still moving, still in the game. Pain, as brutal as it feels, is one of the clearest indicators that life has not given up on you. It's a reminder that you're still present in the arena, that you haven't been counted out yet. Too often we're taught to see pain as the enemy, something to run from, something to numb, something to escape. But what if pain isn't the enemy? What if it's the very proof that there's still more ahead of you, that something inside you is still fighting to rise? Asterisk. Pain shows up when something matters. If you were indifferent, if you were numb, if you had no purpose or passion left in you, pain wouldn't even register. It's the people who are still carrying vision, still holding on to hope, still refusing to give in to darkness, those are the ones who feel it the most. And yes, it hurts deeply, but pain can be direction. It can be feedback. It can even be fuel. Asterisk. An ache you feel. That's your heart still beating, still longing for the future that hasn't yet shown up. That frustration. It's your spirit refusing to settle for what's broken, still believing restoration is possible. That loneliness, that doubt, that emptiness, they all carry weight because you're still engaged in the process. You haven't let life harden you into something unrecognizable. You haven't allowed the flame to go out completely. Pain, as cruel as it is, means you are alive, and in that there's hope. Asterisk. There's something sacred about pain. It strips away the illusion that we are in control. It tears through the mask we wear and reveals the truth underneath. When you're in pain, you're forced to confront the reality of who you are, what you believe, and what you're made of. It pulls you into the raw, unfiltered place where all growth begins. Comfort never did that. Comfort never challenged you to be more. It never showed you your blind spots. But pain will. Asterisk. Some of the strongest people you'll ever meet didn't get there by avoiding hardship. They got there by surviving it, by walking through the fire and choosing not to become bitter, but better. They learned how to turn agony into awakening, struggle into strategy. And that choice to keep going, to keep building even while bleeding, that is where real strength is born. Asterisk. Pain doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're building something. The tears, the heartache, the sleepless nights, they're part of a process that no one talks about because it's too gritty, too raw. But it's real, and you're not weak for feeling it. You're not lesser because life knocked you down. In fact, the very fact that you're still getting up, still showing up, is what makes you powerful beyond words. Asterisk. Sometimes, pain is simply the evidence that you're outgrowing something. It's the friction of stretching into a new version of yourself. Just like muscles have to tear before they grow, your spirit has to break through limitations before it can expand. That pressure you're under isn't punishment, it's preparation. You're being formed, refined, strengthened in ways that comfort could never produce. And yes, it hurts, but it's working. It's shaping something eternal in you. Asterisk. Don't let the pain fool you into believing the story is over. That's exactly when it's getting rewritten. Right in the middle of your darkest moments, something divine is still in motion. Even when you can't see it, even when you don't feel it. The presence of pain is often the loudest sign that purpose is still alive. Dead things don't hurt. Numb hearts don't break. But yours does, because you're still connected to the dream, still tied to the calling, still reaching for something beyond this moment. Asterisk, in the middle of the pain, it's tempting to stop believing, to shut down, to question everything. But if you can hold on, just hold on, there's power on the other side of this process. Power you didn't know was in you. Power that doesn't come from pretending you're fine, but from being honest about your wounds and still choosing to keep walking. Asterisk, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't even have to know how the story ends. You just have to decide that this pain won't be wasted, that it will become part of the fire that fuels your transformation, that every scar, every bruise, every tear will be a thread in the masterpiece you're becoming. Asterisk, so feel the pain. Don't run from it. Don't silence it. Let it speak. Let it show you what still matters. Let it show you where you still care, where you still believe. And most importantly, let it push you toward the version of yourself that can carry the weight of the future you're meant to walk into. Asterisk, the fact that you can feel means you're not done yet. You're still in the fight. You may be tired. You may be broken, but you're not out. And the very pain you're feeling now might just be the beginning of your greatest power. Asterisk. Pain is one of life's most misunderstood gifts. It rarely feels like a gift when we're going through it, when the nights are long, the betrayal is fresh, the disappointment cuts deep, and the future seems distant or even non-existent. But pain is not a punishment, it's a platform. It's a stage upon which strength is built, character is refined, and resilience is forged in the fire of adversity. Asterisk, people often think that their pain is a sign that they are off track, that they've failed, or that they're being punished for something. But more often than not, pain is a signal that something powerful is being formed on the inside. You don't grow on the mountaintops, you grow in the valleys. You don't discover your depth when everything is going right, you discover it when everything seems to be falling apart. Because that's when the real you shows up. That's when the masks come off. That's when the shallow stuff falls away and all you have left is raw faith, raw grit, and raw determination. Asterisk, think about this. Every person who has ever done something great, something meaningful, something that changed lives, had to walk through pain to get there. They had to face rejection. They had to deal with loss. They had to overcome self-doubt and push through moments where quitting seemed like the only option. What separated them wasn't talent, it wasn't luck, it was what they did with their pain. Some people let pain define them. Others let pain refine them. It's not about what happens to you. It's about what you choose to do with what happens. Asterisk, pain is a revealer. It shows you who you are when everything else is stripped away. It reveals your core. When you go through hardship, you begin to realize how much strength you actually have. You realize how many distractions you were depending on. You realize that comfort had become your prison. Pain wakes you up. It snaps you out of sleepwalking through life. It demands your attention, and in doing so, it invites you to step into your purpose with clarity. Asterisk, there's something about going through pain that gives you authority. You can't help someone out of a pit you've never been in. But when you've been through it, when you've had to cry yourself to sleep, when you've wrestled with depression, when you've faced real loss, real fear, real disappointment, you speak with a different weight. You carry presence. You carry power. Your words cut deeper, not because they're loud, but because they're true. Lived experience is the greatest credential you will ever carry. And pain is often the teacher. Asterisk, the world doesn't need perfect people. It needs people who have been through something, people who have walked through fire and still chose to rise. Your story is your superpower, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. Every scar tells a story. Every wound is a weapon when it's surrendered and transformed. What once tried to destroy you becomes the very thing that gives you the strength to build others. Asterisk, you see, pain creates perspective. Once you've been broken, you no longer judge others the same way. You learn to see people through the lens of grace. You start recognizing that behind every angry face is a hurting heart. Behind every failure is someone who's fighting battles you can't see. Pain makes you more compassionate, more discerning, more grounded. It helps you to lead with empathy instead of ego, asterisk, but for pain to become power, you have to make a choice. You have to stop hiding it, you have to stop running from it. You have to face it, feel it, and then use it. You weren't meant to carry pain forever, but you were meant to convert it. Just like energy, pain can be transformed, it can become drive, it can become discipline, it can become vision. What once broke, you can now build others. What once silenced, you can now become your roar. Asterisk, this isn't about pretending that pain doesn't hurt. It's not about faking positivity or suppressing emotion. It's about acknowledging the pain, honoring it, and then deciding to make it count. Some of the most beautiful stories come from the most broken beginnings. The ashes are not the end. They are the evidence that you've been through something and survived. Now it's time to rise from them, not bitter, but better. Not crushed, but carved. Not wounded, but wiser. Asterisk, the platform pain gives you is not always public. Sometimes it's deeply personal. Sometimes the power you gain from pain is the ability to forgive someone who never said sorry. Sometimes it's the courage to keep showing up when no one notices. Sometimes it's learning to be okay without closure, to heal in silence, to grow. Without applause, that kind of power is quiet, but it is real. And it changes everything. Asterisk, what you thought was a setback might be the setup. What felt like an ending might be the exact place where the next chapter begins. Pain has a strange way of positioning you for places you never thought you'd reach. It's often the pressure that launches you into purpose. Don't waste it. Don't numb it. Don't bury it. Dig into it. Mine the wisdom from it. Let it teach you. Let it stretch you. Let it shape you into someone who doesn't just talk about strength, but embodies it. Asterisk, and remember, the fire that tried to consume you is the same fire that forged you. Pain may have entered your life uninvited, but it does not get to dictate your future. You get to decide what kind of story you will tell. You get to decide whether your pain becomes a prison or a platform. Asterisk,